Salut toi, ça va? Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Oh my god, you speak French? Oui, I speak French. Welcome back everybody. Last time I talked about being nomadic, and one of the cultures that I grew up in is Montreal, Canada. So first of all, I arrived there speaking only Arabic. And at that time, the school system required, I had to learn French before entering school. And that was one of the first things that I had to experience. And luckily I was young enough to learn the language pretty quickly. So that's a very good thing. But yeah, I think the funniest part is my name. Okay, so my name is Arij. All right, so first of all, in French, they roll the R, so it's Arij. Secondly, it has a double E in my name, and that double E in English, the pronunciation is E, but in French it's E, so they would call me Arej. And for the life of me, I couldn't recognize myself, classmates or other kids would be like, Arej, Arej, and I'm like, who is this? Who are they calling? Eventually they had to tap me on the shoulder, Arej, and I'm like, oh my god, that's me. Okay, now we're on the same page. Okay, now we're on the same page. All right, I recognize myself. Now we can have conversations. Bonjour, ça va? So that was something. But generally speaking, I was living in two different worlds, okay? Because at home we had, we only spoke Arabic. My mom had a rule. We must speak Arabic in the house. If you didn't like that, go sleep outside. And I love that. So we had that, only an Arabic-speaking household. We also had the new groceries, being introduced to different groceries, and also finding ingredients that we would use in our dishes or from our culture's dishes, and finding them at the store. So that was both a difficulty and a discovery at the same time, which was nice because you feel included, you feel part of it. So that's a very nice thing. But then I had a different world as well outside, because where I only speak French, and I have friendships where I look different to them, they look different to me. We had questions for each other, and these introductions, to their parents. Also in the neighborhood, there were neighbors that had kids as well playing together. Also in school, we had this mini stage in class where we must, part of the school system is that you must do a presentation every week about whatever you want, anything that you like. And that played well to my personality, because it's like it brought out that side of me. Because as a kid, I'm very I was apprehensive, a bit observant, a little bit creepy, quiet. But quiet is the point, is that I was quiet. So this presentation sort of really brought out that side of my personality, that diva. I was really looking forward to knowing presenting. I would really look forward to that, because I'm okay, it's my time, it's my 5 minutes. So I really appreciated it about that culture quite a lot. It pushed that side of my personality quite a bit. Another thing as well was the weather, because in the winter time in Montreal, it was you had snow, it was pretty cold. But the experience of my first snowfall ever, waking up and finding the entire world is white, and I'm oh my god, I must go outside now, and wanting to jump into the snow. And there's so many activities as a kid in the snow, which included I don't know, sitting on a plastic tray and sliding all the way across the field. And that was a pretty nice memories. Now across time, thankfully, obviously there are difficulties to everything, but innately, my personality is that the difficult things happen and I experience it, and then I sort of brush it off. I'm always yeah, okay, whatever. And I would be more focused on the things that I'm attracted to, that I find positive or entertaining to me, again, diva. It's all about me and what works. So I'm pretty thankful in that sense, because it really it really saved my spirit in some way, that I was focused on that, because it carried on in my life, where I would seek what reflected onto me, or what I see myself reflected into, and included within, so that would happen, and everything would have an embossment on this character. I mean, I can't say it's not minimal, it's minimal, but an embossment, be it family or siblings or friends or environment or language or anything like that, they would have an embossment. And the funny part is meeting another Arab who then would say something oh, but you don't seem really Arab. And then there's this the sense of pride that comes out. I'm like, what شو قصدك? What do you mean? What do you mean? يعني إنه مين مفكر حاله هذا? Like, what is this? There's this sense of pride, and then eventually like you have to admit that that's like, you know, that's a fair comment. That's a very fair comment, because what do you expect? Okay, all this like, you know, moving around, traveling, la 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 la. So yeah, so that's funny, and we'll talk more about that next time.